time, I'm back again. Had kind of an awkward stop at the end of those last slides. I probably should divide that up, but here we are. We're going to talk about some student examples to help you with your slide development. So this is an example of a slide that was in a presentation a number of years ago. The group did a great job in their analysis, but this looks like a page out of a textbook. So number one, how are we going to read this if it's projected? How am I supposed to, as the audience, follow what you're doing here versus what you're doing in the next equation versus what you're doing in the next equation? So this is a contact area, this is a peak force analysis, and this is a length of contact, which will go into a wear calculation, which is actually down here. There's a lot going on here. It needs to be broken up into multiple slides. Depending on your audience, it may or may not be a great idea to have these detailed equations in here. It might be better to explain the concept that gets included into the equation. If you're enamored with the equation and you know that your engineering management really loves to see equations, then by all means put them on. But in general, what do we care about? We care about this, the bottom line. How much wear, and then how does that compare to a spec or to our competition? So you need to give not only information on what happens as the engineer, but what's the context. Really, that's the most important thing. And we talk about the context for engineering things in terms of factors of safety, percent allowable, things like that. Okay? Let's look at another slide here. Part of what I'm going to ask you to do when you do your presentations is talk about the market, because I want you to think not only about what matters in terms of the design, but who might buy it and how big is that market, just to sort of force you to look a little bit broader at the problem. So this is a nice slide that very easily talks about the market, and they found some great data when they did their skateboard work. Another way to show information on your slides is to do tables and text, and I mean text in a small way. So you've got a graph here and a table, but this table actually gets a little bit busy, a little bit hard to read. So if it was me, I might want to just do this thing, and this is maybe a little hard to see. This is an arrow and some growth here, and I might animate it so I would have the 1999 information pop up first, then the 2010, then the 2020, and talk about how the average weight was increasing. Or I might just want to have this on there and point to the weight information. It kind of depends on the audience. So if I'm going to talk to some people that really are going to want to see some evidence, some strong evidence, because they're maybe going to be hard to convince, and I think that strong evidence is going to be helpful, then I'm going to want to have this kind of data, and I'm going to want to make it clear where that data came from. Okay, so it's all about using images, but using those images in a way that promotes your intended message. I think this is a nice slide. So this group wanted to talk about wear in the wheel, and they wanted to make it clear why the wheels were wearing out so much in their target longboard market. And so they have a worn wheel here. They have this little video from Tumblr that they grab that just very quickly, very easily helps us understand the motion that causes the wear. It's very clear. You don't have to sit there and try to explain the motion. You can see it. And then this information down here that half of the complaints come from that kind of wear. This is more from the longboard presentation. So knowing that there's wear, they talked about deflection and breakage of the board, and in this you have a simple statement that says what you assumed, and that's another thing that we need to think of as engineers as we talk about our design analysis. What did I assume, and what evidence do I have to support the validity of that assumption? So this is where they could put in those CDC anthropomorphic tables. Would be nice to have something there too. But here we have indicates what the board was loaded with, how much it deflected, and then bottom line, okay, there's that deflection, but what does that mean? Is that good? Is that bad? Well, here, the deflection is half of the allowable, so it's well within the specification. This is a really nice graphic here that went into a presentation, but as you can see, this equation gets very busy. This stuff up here, I can't even read it. It was in a dark color. Look at this, lots and lots of stuff here. Okay, so I know, because I've tested you, that you know what I is and you know how to calculate it. So if you're presenting to me, I don't need you to give this equation. I'd like you to document it in your write-up. So you could, if you really want me to know the details of your analysis, you might want to give me a handout. But most of the time, that belongs in the report. The report is the thing that gets saved. It's the thing that has space for the details. And in this is what I care about. This right here, the deflection. And what did they do? They forgot. Is this okay? So they're going to probably say it with their words, but somehow in this, I would like to see, hey, is that deflection okay? And all this stuff, what these variables are, that really does not need to be there. And honestly, I mean, who in the audience is going to read through this? Are you going to think, oh, I'm going to write this down and I'm going to plug those numbers in and check their math? No, you're not going to do that. So it'd be better to have an image, just have the image, and be ready to talk about it and explain how it was loaded and what the result was and why that mattered. Okay, so here's some stuff from presentations that I've done looking at crashes between old cars and new cars. I'm just paging through this so you can get a sense of how you can use animations in your PowerPoints to help explain things. This is some other work, some modeling work I've done. We're looking at a chemical hazard in terms of a droplet of a chemical hazard going into the ground and then evaporating out, and talking about all of the problems that can come as that happens. Let's see, it's kind of hanging up a little bit on me here. See if I can get it to run through the rest of it by paging it this way. So, you have some ideas. I hope that these little slides that we've stepped through have given you a list of things to think about. As you prepare your slides, I'm going to expect that you're going to make them once, look at them, and probably want to make them over again. So we're going to have a multi-step process. You're going to create your draft presentation, and you're going to make a little video of your group presenting that, and then we're going to review those. I'm going to look at them, a couple other groups are going to take turns looking at your presentation, and you're going to look at other groups' presentations. And through this process, you'll get feedback and you will improve. Because at the end of the day, it's really not about presenting your lawnmower or your cherry picker or whatever it is that you selected as your design project. It's about helping you improve your presentation skills and learn how to create great presentations that keep people's interest and attention and get you noticed. Alright, thank you for your attention. Move on to your next set of exercises.